Okay. All right. Hopefully, I don't know. I still don't know. I am or can be heard. I think I can be heard. I'm not sure. Okay. I think I am. Yeah. All right. So, welcome. We're here now. If you guys haven't seen my predictions video, that's because technical and audio issues were problem. So, I decided to connect the headphones. I'm hopefully going to get a new one. But other than that, those asides, we are coming off of Bad Blood 2024. This is the review for it. I have the Bleacher Report up, so I'm going to read from the Bleacher Report. And I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to separate everything here so I can see. Hold on. Let me get it in the right, like, ooh. Come back. Okay, there we go. Change it out a bit. Okay. Put it up in the corner. Okay. So, got another thing running here. So, um, Bad Blood 2024 results, winners, live actions, reactions. Of course, I had the courtesy of watching Bad Blood on Peacock. Not enjoying my spicy nugs. I didn't have any of those today, yesterday. But Eric Beeston wrote, of course, the results for this, and we're gonna get right down to it. Stayed up to watch Triple H's announcement, and I think after that I just fell off. But for predictions correct, out of the 5, of course, I will explain the one I got wrong because that is what I do here. I will always explain why I was wrong if I got a prediction wrong. But for the first time in 2 decades, WWE presented, of course, Bad Blood, a premium live event kicked off with, of course, CM Punk and McIntyre inside of Hell in a Cell to top everything off with, of course, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu taking on Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns with title implications. So we start off with our Hell in a Cell match, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read to you exactly what it states here from Bleacher Report. So, the month's long rivalry between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre accumulated. I think I'm saying that right. Accumulated Saturday night inside Hell in a Cell in a match that was brutal, violent, and punishing as promised. Both men bled and suffered tremendous pain and suffering inside the unforgiving steel confines of WWE's most storied structure. I said on Twitter that they would bleed, they would go through hell with each other, and that's exactly what I put forth just by watching the programming. You guys know that this was the case. This was going to happen. There were near falls of finishers, broken and shattered plunder callbacks to prior story beats. Odes, of course, to Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. And an appropriate finish that saw Punk feed McIntyre's friendship bracelet beads before delivering a chained assist go to sleep for the 1-2-3. Expectations were high entering this match based on the story that preceded it and promised brutality from Monday's final promo segment. And both men delivered. This was everything it needed to be. It was brimming with appropriate violence that made sense without pushing the boundaries of shocks, sakes, and felt like a fight between two guys who generally hate each other. Based on the keys, in-ring performance from both men from their previous encounters have shown that they are both equal in this fight. When it came down to the media coverage, everybody was wondering if it was going to be the opening or the main event. Personally, I would have wanted the main event. Now, when it came to promos, Punk got away with it. McIntyre did a good one, but Punk got away with it. If this is my final match, then so be it. My career has been successful as it is. So, logically thinking about it, when you thought about how everything went, good guys finish last. And I will damn sure put a shirt that says that. Good guys finish last. Because that is exactly what happened here. CM Punk won this match. CM Punk winning was the right call, especially considering it was a feud ender, and leaves no window for the program to continue. Both men are clear to move on, and they shall. How McIntyre retains his year-long momentum remains to be seen, but Punk almost certainly emerged as a potential challenger for Gunther, with seeds for that feud having been planted already. Not only that, but the seeds being planted for, of course, a little NXT show in between Ethan Page and CM Punk. That gives something for him to do. That also leaves the door open for McIntyre to finally find something else to do. Maybe lead a feud into Sheamus. Go back to that from about 3 years ago. And then while Punk is doing Ethan Page or Gunther, Seth Rollins will be dealing with Bronson Reed. And before you know it, we will get those two in a match. Punk, Rollins finally getting it for what it was worth. CM Punk defeated McIntyre, graded an A+ as it should be. Now, Punk bled early in this match, but McIntyre bled, and believe it or not, this was real. McIntyre bled from CM Punk hitting him in the head with a black toolbox. Now, one of the things that got me was the black bag. I always wanted to see the thumbtacks return, but it was the beads. The beads went all over the floor and in all over Punk. It was symbolic. The Hell in a Cell structure is also symbolic. A lot of people didn't like the red. I know a lot of people didn't like the red. I'm going to tell you what I believe the red represented. I think the red coloring for the structure of the Hell in a Cell, the reason why it was red was because symbolically, the people who were inside, who've been inside the structure of the devil, their blood. I think the reason why it went from silver to red is symbolically saying the blood shed. The people who have been in there have bled in that match, and the amount of blood covers now all of the steel. Again, I like this. I like the silver steel structure. It's just it's been there, and and as it should always say silver. But I like the symbolicness of the red. It made sense if you can make it make sense, which I did. Honestly, I didn't care for this match next up, which was the WWE Women's Championship match. It was Nia Jax versus Bailey. Yes, if you read my Twitter, I said that Bailey should have never gotten another World Championship match against Nia Jax. Again, WWE did nothing really with Bailey for as her for a champion. They didn't put her as the poster child for any of the fucking PLEs. They didn't put Bailey at the pedestal of where she should be. Um, and instead they put her here with Nia Jax and not Naomi. That's just bad. So so here in this match, there wasn't really much to go by. I mean, honestly, there wasn't. I'm gonna see if I can do this on my phone here instead of having to read off a screen. So close that out. Maybe it might give leniency to do it this way. Maybe I might be able to yeah. Okay. Hopefully like the lag, I know the camera lags. I don't know why, but quality just sucks. So the saga of Tiffany Stratton and the saga of Tiffany Stratton, Money in the Bank, and whether she intends to cash in, hung over the WWE Women's Championship match with Nia Jax and Bailey. It was also heavily factored into the closing moments of the match itself. I want to pause there and mention something here, of course, when we talk about when I talk about advantages and factors. So when I talk about advantages and factors, I want to completely separate the two. So, what is an advantage in WWE? What is a factor in the WWE? So, a factor represents possibility. The reason it represents possibility is because you have to question, is this possible? Could this happen? Yes, no. Simple. It's a possibility. That's what factors are. They're possibilities. Advantages, on the other hand, of course, they are the self um they are the holder of it. So for example, when I mention championship advantage or champions advantage, when I talk about the crowd being behind you, when I talk about the home state, those are advantages because they are to you. They are personal to you. All right? So a champion has a championship. The crowd is behind that person. They rallied up the crew to be behind them. That's an advantage because the people are rooting for you now. You got the people right on your side. And then you got the champions advantage, which we all know you can't lose the championship by disqualification or countout. So separate the two to make it easier to understand. Factors are possibilities, advantages aren't. So, familiar foes broke out new moves and inventive counters to keep the others off guard. The irresistible force utilized her strength and size advantage early, but Bailey answered with grit and intensity that have defined her career. That is true. That is true. Nia Jax is with under Triple H's not excuse me. After Triple H, after being under Vince McMahon, she was reckless. Now under Triple H, she's more disciplined, but can be very aggressive when provoked. And I like that about Nia Jax. That's one thing I can really say. Have you realized that every time she's been provoked, she's been more aggressive, but in the ring, she's been disciplined. Yeah, she's able to throw her weight around because she's a bigger woman, but that's what she should do. She is disciplined. She wants to. It's like a lion playing with his victim. You want to play with them before you gut them like a fish. That's what Nia Jax should do in the ring. More disciplined and then become aggressive because you come off more evil, especially as you come off more of a heel when you do that. When you play with your victim and then you decimate them, right? And yes, you do. There's chances where baby faces come back, and that's it's gonna happen. Nia Jax. My reason for this was Bailey didn't deserve another championship match, especially after SummerSlam. And we're 2 months. We're only 2 months into Nia Jax's title reign. She's only had two defenses, this being her second one. So, not much to go by. Got to keep Nia Jax going. So, late in the match, though, Stratton appeared and capitalized on the referee bump to bash the challenger with her Money in the Bank briefcase, which, of course, there was a botch. And you guys should, everybody in wrestling community should know what a botch is. It's a mistake. Botches are mistakes that should never have happened. But again, when you work past it, it looks pretty good. So she hit Bailey in the head twice. Referee Jessica Carr recovered after being squashed by Nia Jax. She grabbed the case, giving the impression that the center of the universe was going to cash in on a fallen Jax, but Nia Jax rose up like Kane. A nice callback to 1997 with, of course, Kane debuting. I loved that. I think more than anything, it was like rise up like Kane, and she did. That was a great callback. I love that. And yeah, giving the impression that the center of the universe was going to cash in on a fallen Jax, earning her the wrath of the Queen of the Ring. Now, of course, here Bailey nearly scored the win with a roll up, but one late distraction by Tiffany Stratton, which was kind of funny, which was she threw the briefcase up to her. This is fucking hilarious. Threw the briefcase up there, was like, ref, look at, she's gonna use the briefcase. Bailey's like, bitch, throws the briefcase right at her, knocking her out. And of course, one distraction led to another, which allowed Nia Jax to cut her opponent off and deliver, of course, a Super Samoan drop before hitting, of course, her banzai, scoring the win 1, 2, 3. So, Nia Jax and Bailey were in an inevitable position of following the Hell in a Cell match that, of course, we got. But they did deliver on their match, which is good. It's good to deliver what you advertise. A few spots were anything but clean or pretty, but they recovered nicely and told the story they needed to tell, which was what? What story are we trying to tell here? Other than Nia Jax and Tiffany, what story are we trying to tell between Bailey and Nia Jax? Because that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the two people in the ring fighting for the championship, not the fucking I'm the center of the universe. I have this briefcase. Oh my god, I'm with you type shit. Like I'm not, if you're trying to tie that into the perspective that that is what the story is about between, of course, the Queen of the Ring and Tiffany Stratton and their unformidable breakup or when she cashes in, which I've stated before, Tiffany Stratton should cash in and fail. Bottom line, that's how I see it happening because Tiffany Stratton is one, arrogant and cocky and young, but two, she is going to be a future, not a, I was going to say former, a future women's champion. And if you were to ask me now, no, I don't see her becoming women's champion now. I don't see her becoming women's champion by the end of this year. I see her becoming women's champion next year. So if you want to cash her in and have her win the championship then, go right ahead. Personally, I think she should cash in and fail, but future champion right here in Tiffany Stratton. If you were to ask me, hey, do you think that she'll be a future champion next year or in 2026? 100 fucking percent. All right. This year though, no cash in. Cash in, fail. Cash in. Treat her like kind of you want to give her kind of that John Cena essence, right? Like John Cena was the first man to cash in and fail. And look what he did a year later. He'd win the W Championship. Look at what he would do 3 years later. He'd win the W Championship again and tie Ric Flair for the most championships. So when you put it all into perspective, Tiffany Stratton should cash in and fail so that she can get that championship later. There's no shame in Tiffany Stratton cashing in and failing. The shame would come in if you don't put the title on her the next year or the next coming of years. She's the future. You want to build on that future. And if building her with that briefcase, and that's another thing, what is the briefcase? Is it an advantage or is it a factor? It's a factor because you have to factor in the possibility of a cash in. Okay. The contract itself could be an advantage. I mean, you get a guaranteed title match any place, anytime, anywhere. But it's a that could be considered an advantage, but it's a factor because especially when you have her tied with the champion. When you have her associated and aligned with the champion, it's a factor. The tension between Stratton and Jax remains. Bailey will have a legitimate grip with Naomi, who is supposed to be her friend, but was busy partying with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair instead, leaving her to go it alone against the heels. That should be a key story direction coming out of the show. 100% agree with you. Let me tell you something. Not Naomi should have been the woman to be here with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Obviously, Naomi gardening the win against not against Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. Why didn't she compete here? Um, at Hell in a Cell just to get some momentum for her. I know Nia Jax would have still been my same prediction, but still, Naomi, it's a woman different. You had Meech in the first time, you had Bailey this time. Who's next? Like honestly, who's next for Nia Jax? You know, Naomi now feels that Bailey's beaten her twice. Actually, if you think about it, Bailey's beaten her twice. She pinned her twice. Actually, she pinned her at Backlash in that triple threat match with Bailey, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton, and then pinned her on SmackDown to earn the right to face Nia Jax. So unless WWE is cleaning up their cachets or they're cleaning up their little, um, backbones here, they're trying to fucking clear out Bailey so she doesn't like they did with Sami Zayn. Kind of, all right, I beat you at SummerSlam. I'm going to beat you here on Raw just to prove a point that I'm the champion and I'm going to move forward as champion. Or is this like, okay, I want to get Bailey out of the way so I can focus on new shit? WWE, make it make sense, please, because this ain't making the prediction was correct, but the story alone does not make sense. Like, why did you choose Bailey and not Naomi? Unless you're turning Naomi heel, which we haven't seen since 2016, 2017, if I'm correct. So yeah, graded a B. Nia Jax retains the championship. Um, Jax broke out of a Nia Karana. I don't know. She did a I guess she did a Hurricanrana, Nia Jax. Holy shit. Something like intriguing about, when you're a champion or when you're a wrestler like Nia Jax, you want to break out some new moves. And that's something that should be taken into consideration. Michael Cole said on commentary to the dismay of Philly fans, this has been a Met style thrashing by Nia. Sometimes I don't like Michael Cole, but you know what? I can get over it. Of course, we get to the match that I predicted wrong. If you remember on Twitter, I explained that in 2016, 2017, Finn Balor was special, and he is special. Everybody nowadays overlooks him, and that's bad. You shouldn't overlook somebody who's been here for so long. You know, everybody was cheering and um, wanting Balor to win, but at the end of the day, WWE decides to push its most beloved superstars like Damian Priest. Now, again, I'm a fan of Damian Priest. Don't get me wrong. I love my brother here, you know. Um, but again, we get to that point of where you guys do the most repetitive stuff constantly. You fall into that pattern of doing repetitiveness. Nobody's going to want to watch it. For example, if you remember back at Bash in Berlin, like the lead up to it was the Judgment Day trashing all over fucking Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest needed the win. Now, I didn't predict that because I believe in the story, and the story tells me, the keys tell me the story needs to continue, and the ending of it is the same. Now, unless you're doing like a TV series type deal, like every episode is a TV, every episode of Raw, there's some part of the story that's like TV show, Can't always have the baby faces win in the end. You got to have the heels kind of cap it off. It's what Finn Balor did and the Judgment Day had done, beating up Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. But when you do that every single fucking week, you get a little bit bored of it, don't you? I do. I know I have because I've watched wrestling for more than 10 fucking years. So, clearly, credibility is nearly non-existent for the Judgment Day following Damian Priest's victory over Finn Balor Saturday night in Atlanta. Even during the heat portion of the match, it never really felt like the inaugural Universal Champion ever had a chance to beat Damian Priest. That alone should have raised eyebrows right there. The fact that during the heat portion, during the biggest points in the match, Balor couldn't. They made Balor look like a fucking buffoon. Now, towards the end of the match, I generally thought I had the win in the bag. I generally thought I had the 5 out of 5 going to happen because I knew Liv Morgan was going to win and Roman and Cody were going to eventually win with the title implications. So the fact that you had the inaugural Universal Champion never even getting a chance or feeling like he ever had a chance. See, that's the problem. One of the problems WWE needs to learn is you need to give me something about the heels. All right, you can't just have them cut a flashy promo and generally be that big bad heel just to have him lose at a pay per view right here against Damian Priest. Like you can't. You're sometimes it insults my sometimes insulting our intelligence as wrestling fans really it's insulting. It's very insulting. Don't insult our intelligence as audience. We know what we watch, we know what we see, and we're going to call back to those very disgusting, horrible moments back in wrestling history. All right. Triple H even said he's believed that the history of the wrestling business has a lot to offer, and I believe that. I do. But you got to make it come true. You got to make those moments happen. They don't come once in a blue moon. Like, look at what Triple H did when it came to title historics. He made Roman Reigns the fourth longest reigning world champion. He made Gunther the longest reigning intercontinental champion. I digress though on this. Is Finn Balor should have won this match. You're gonna convince me that Finn Balor's this big bad fucking heel and he wins no matches. Period. He goes into one contest with like Rey Mysterio and beats him. He gets 8-man tag team match against LWO and wins it because they're big bad Judgment Day. And then that's it. Just promos back and forth. And Finn Balor wanted this match. Why would you have Damian Priest win knowing Finn Balor wanted this match? I thought this was a heel tactic, honestly. I thought this was actually a heel tactic from Finn Balor. He asked for this match, you know, especially when Finn Balor said, when you think you're safe, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna come at your back, I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna hit you from behind, I'm gonna come after you. You're gonna have eyes in the back of your head. That was Finn Balor's promo. That's what he said. To not follow up on that and be like, okay, I'm gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna challenge you to a match, 1-on-1, Migo, right? That's what Finn Balor wanted. Finn Balor said, I challenge you to a match at Bad Blood. I want you. He was confident in that. Damian Priest should have stood tall. I think at the end of that little thing with he should have stood tall after Finn Balor had his boys come out and fucking beat him up on that Raw. Or try to. Right? You should have Damian Priest stand tall in that moment. Make him feel something. But when you had him constantly get beat up week after week after week, there's no reason why you can't tell me the average wrestling fan would go for Damian Priest. There's a clear answer right there. You have him getting beat up every fucking week. You want him to stand tall. But Damian Priest already had enough momentum. He had the momentum. He faced Carlito on a match on Raw. All right. He was able to beat up Finn Balor and beat up the other guys like it was shown to. But to have the Judgment Day stand tall, yeah, you want him to feel that big group. I don't think this feud is over yet. And if it is, well, then this was a shitty climactic fucking ending. And WWE should take what the fans are saying into consideration. I'm not shitting on the WWE. I'm not shitting on Triple H. I'm voicing my opinion. And respect out of that should be taken. But you don't have to agree with what I have to say. You don't have to listen to what I have to say. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing and what I'm believing in. And what I'm believing in is that Finn Balor should have won this match. Bottom line, hands down. But Priest was able to fend Finn Balor off as he did, and he rolled on. He rolled into until Carlito and JD McDonough injected themselves late in the match. A brief moment, of course, a brief moment of drama saw Balor appear to have the match won after executing two coup de grace to the back of his opponent, which felt off because of how far Priest was away from those coup de grace. Like, they didn't look good. I'm sorry, those coup de grace did not look good, especially on the back of Damian Priest, right? So check this out. Um, a brief moment saw the drama. Like I said before, a brief drama saw Balor appear to have the match won after executing two coup de grace to the back of his opponent, only for Priest to shake him off and deliver the South of Heaven for the win. And with that decision alone, made by the WWE, the Judgment Day look incredibly incompetent. Balor should have fucking won. Okay? At this stage, Balor should have won. You want me to be convinced that he is a heel worth giving a damn about. You need to have him win. Priest and it's like this. It's like this. It's like that evil like heel group. Okay, we need to deal with these motherfuckers. I'm gonna set Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio. You go handle Rhea and Damian. Okay. So they do that at Bash in Berlin. Bash in Berlin, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley win. First off, you couldn't have him lose. I thought about it more. You couldn't have Priest lose, and Rhea needed an excuse to get that championship match again. What do? You have Rhea pin Liv. I should have saw that, and I didn't. Now I'm aware that I have to go individually buy the stars for my keys. The keys work, but I have to go buy the stars individually. Second, Finn Balor knew that this was going to fail. So he's like, okay, this is going to fail. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to step in and step up. Finn Balor goes out, cuts a promo, and he wants Damian Priest at Bad Blood. We get that match at Bad Blood. Why the fuck did they go for Damian Priest winning here then? What was the point? They had the numbers advantage. Mind you, numbers are factors, not an advantage. A lot of people talk about the numbers advantage. The numbers are not advantage. They're factors. They're the having, that when you have more, a lot of people talk about the numbers advantage. Like it's not I it's not an advantage. You don't have, like, for instance, Balor had a half. Now, I'm gonna explain this one to you so it makes more sense. All right. When I talk about the numbers, a lot of people talk about the numbers advantage. That's not an advantage. All right. Just because you have more people behind you, jack shit. Okay. Garrett, and I tell you that's jack shit. When it's you up against a lot of guys, okay? For you to stand up to those guys, whether you get beat up or not, whether you get pummeling and beat down on, the respect that they have will come later. You'll see that. And in real life, that's the case. Think about that for a minute. When you stand up against like a bunch of fucking people, right? And it's just you alone, you got heart. That's what they're gonna see. You got heart. You got soul. But you might not have the strength. You might not have the people behind you. But guess what? You got that fight in you. You got that dog in you. And that's where the respect comes from when you stand up against a group that's bigger and has more numbers. The numbers are factors. Mind you that. They're factors because you don't know if they're going to get involved. If you want this one-on-one, amigo, we're going to have this one-on-one. You're not going to your boys ain't going to come at me because I ain't got nobody. That's a disadvantage. All right? You want this one-on-one fair? Your boys stay to the side. I can't, and they can't promise, just like I can't promise I'm going to attack one of them. It's a factor. It's not a numbers advantage. There's no advantage for Finn Balor. Okay? And then when it comes to his championship, I talk about champions advantage. Finn Balor's half of the tag team championship. So unless that title is being defended separately, there's no championship advantage he has. The only advantage that there is for one person is actually Damian Priest. The crowd getting behind him. The crowd is the advantage that he has. Damian Priest got the crowd rallied up and behind him. The crowd approved him. So, in whatever way you want to look at it, that's an advantage to have the crowd behind you. Just like Jey Uso. Jey Uso didn't have the home field. I mean, yeah, Jey Uso was from California. Okay, so he had the home field advantage, but he also had the crowd advantage. Braun Breaker had the championship advantage. Okay? I don't predict based off of the advantages they have. I'm just pointing out the obvious. It's like in NFL. You point out some of the factors that lead into it, you point out the advantages that lead right into it. It's all simple. Anyway, they had the numbers factor. A hobbled Priest and still couldn't take advantage. They were dispatched relatively easily, and the babyface won. How the group recovers from that booking is a great question, and something Triple H and the creative team will have to address quickly if the goal is to keep them a focal point on Monday Night Raw. And that is true. That is fucking true. The fact that the judgment, again, incompetent is the correct word. That whole little brief statement right there is so true. The Judgment Day looked so bad. Finn Balor's the big baddie. You want me, the fan, Triple H, okay? Big fan of you. All right. You played a heel so well. How could you do this to Finn Balor? The heel, if you're trying to make it so that so that Damian Priest looks good, no, we're sick and tired of that shit. No. See, you want the fan, the audience, the viewer, myself, to be convinced that Finn Balor is worth giving a damn about. All right? Put your money where your mouth is. If he says that he's the heel that's going to, beat up Damian Priest, going to take everything away from him, he's going to make sure that he doesn't get to, go after championships, or he's going to be the reason why Priest, all that. Check it. Priest, you want Priest losing. If Finn Balor says who he says he is, put your money where your mouth is. If he says he's this, prove it. Finn Balor needed to prove it here, and he didn't because WWE booked him to lose. He booked him to make Priest look better than Balor. A lot of people overlook Balor, but that's the thing. You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. You fucked me once, all right? Finn Balor got injured when he won that Universal Championship. You know what? You know what got me? You know what fucked me over with that was the fact that they didn't pull the damn trigger when Brock Lesnar was champion and had him win at Royal Rumble. So don't try to fuck my intelligence. Hell no. I love wrestling. I love professional wrestling. Here from Massachusetts, motherfucker. Do not do that for me. Priest defeated Balor. This was graded a C plus. Honestly, is there any debate on that? Probably a C at this point. Priest yeeted Balor across the announce table at one point. One of the coldest matches of the night, likely because the crowd had zero belief in the heel. Honestly, could you? I ask you, the audience watching this, could you put your belief into Finn Balor? I didn't put my belief into Finn Balor. I wanted to see where this went. If Finn Balor says he's the heel, he says he wants this match, he says who he says he is, then fucking prove it. It happens in real life. People are gonna say, you talk a lot of shit. Put your money where your mouth. If you say who you are, prove it to me. Beat me. Simple. They ain't gonna do that. They showed it right here. Triple H, though, made a historical announcement after this match. Every time, and I love Triple H so much, guys. You can't I can't express how much love I have for Triple H. Honestly, he plays such a great heel. He plays such a great babyface. You couldn't really tell me. Sorry, I didn't tell you. I personally couldn't tell you how much I love him because he's there. Like, what is there not to like about Triple H? Other than the curtain call and probably all the other stupid shit they did in the 90s and the early 2000s, what can you tell me that Triple H, hasn't done? He's done a lot. And I admire that. There are sometimes I give the WWE shit and I give him and his creative team shit, but it's out of respect. I want the business to grow, and he's been doing a great job. I will praise Triple H. I will praise Triple H from here on out if I have to. And by doing so, by praising Triple H, anytime he makes an entrance or comes out, I do his infamous water spit. Every time. You don't believe me? You find my cousin in Springfield. You guys can go ask him and he will tell you the truth. But here, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H, or Paul Levesque, not only revealed a historic night at the box office of Saturday Night for Bad Blood, which was 16,000 in attendance, sold out event. Clap, applaud. But he also unveiled the Crown Jewel Championship, which looked pretty good. But not a fan of the idea. Honestly, not a fan of it. But the title did look pretty solid. It did look pretty good. I know what people in Atlanta look at gold and they're like, "Ooh." And that's not being stereotypical. I'm just Atlanta loves to see some good things. They love to see, when they get I like when they go to places and they represent. Like when they bring up the Mets, they bring up, or they bring up for Atlanta when they bring up the Falcons, when they bring up the what is it, the Hawks, or they bring up like when they go to different states, they like to make reference to that state. It's representation. I love that. Something Triple H has learned over time. So this is how it's going to go down. This is how Triple H made it clear about the Crown Jewel Championship. All right. The title will be competed for November 2nd, 4 months. Or no, 4 months, 4 weeks. Yeah. In 4 weeks, November 2nd at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as the top two men champions and the top two women's champions will compete against each other, and with the winner hoisting the new diamond studded belt. I don't know why I said it like that and I looked like that, but you get the picture. Um, they will compete against each other. So, therefore, and as you all know, Liv Morgan, we'll get to that. But as we know, Cody and Gunther will face each other, and Nia Jax, and well, we'll find out here. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, who face Nia Jax. Now, Gunther did come out, of course, as we know. Gunther appeared and wasted a little time taunting Goldberg, who sat at ringside with his wife and son. The WWE Hall of Famer hopped over the guardrail and would have battled the ring general had security not stepped in. Instead, Sami Zayn stepped in, jumped the Austrian in a preview of the main event on Monday Night Raw. Goldberg stood tall to close out the segment with his theme song playing. A lot happened here, but it was a good angle that made solid use of Goldberg, featured a major announcement that adds some stakes to Crown Jewel, and hyped up the World Championship match. It did everything it needed to. I love Triple H. This was graded an A, and it did what it needed to do. Triple H making an announcement, setting up Crown Jewel. Goldberg got featured, and kind of a solid use of Goldberg, and then hyped up Monday Night Raw's main event. What else could that segment have done? That's a segment. All right, that's a segment, not a promo. That's a segment. When you feature more than one superstar, all right, like when you do retirement announcements, those are promos. When you do like announcement of like a new championship belt or something new and it got other people crowned in, oh yeah, that's a segment. Graded an A. Triple H mentioned a lot of things here. In WCW, he jokingly mocked his earlier gimmick of terrorizing. Gunther told Goldberg, I hope you're better. I hope you're a better father than you were a professional wrestler. Oh my God, that was a great line. Oh, was that a great line? He even talked. He didn't even know. Gunther did not even know the name of Goldberg's son. He had to ask Triple H. Gage. What is it now? It's Gage. Gage. Okay. A frantic, stressed Adam Pearce is the best Adam Pearce. Not gonna lie. But of course, we got to our women's heavyweight championship match with Daddy Dom inside of the shark cage. It was Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the women's heavyweight championship. And the fact that they didn't have the cage hang over the ring felt pretty good, actually. It felt pretty good. Having it hang in the entranceway, it's away from the match. That's better. And because of the Hell in a Cell, like I didn't know what they were going to do for that. So having it out of the way, that's perfect. The first 2/3 of Morgan's Women's World Championship defense against Rhea Ripley made for a strong match that saw the heel use her opponent's intensity and emotion against her to seize control before Mommy fired up a comeback and dominated her late. Cue Dominic Mysterio and Shark Cage nonsense as he somehow managed to open the door instead of, and they made it seem like he picked the lock and escaped. No, he actually put his hand through the cage, turned it, went up on the latch the door because WWE doesn't know how to lock doors. It would have been nice to see him toothpick pick the lock. That would have been nice. Lock the cage, lock him up. Instead, and Rhea Ripley actually did a promo just to say, lock him up, raise him up, boys. Because he's also afraid of heights, apparently. But no, that motherfucker, whoop, whoop, and pulled it. He pulled the lock and opened the door. But here's the funny thing. As he somehow managed to open the door and drew the attention of the challenger, he proceeded to tee off. Uh, Rhea Ripley, proceeded to tee off on him with a kendo stick as he hung upside down from the cage because he fell out and his leg and his foot got caught. That was a good little moment there. I was wondering why there were some chains up in that cage. Now, this match really, and I mean really, towards the end, like this was the ending, ladies and gentlemen. Like having the Dominic hang upside down and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley went to the referee and said, "I'm gonna handle my business. You mind that?" And he's like, "No, go ahead." He's okay. I'm gonna count you. I'm gonna count you though. Doesn't even do that anyway. But she grabs a kendo stick. She goes over to Dominic. She looks into she said, "Bring the camera here," and says, "Today must be my birthday," and starts swinging and whipping his ass like he's a fucking pinata. I thought that was funny. There is one thing I did not think that was funny. Okay, we all having fun here, we're all partying, having fun, but there's one thing that I did not find funny, and that's the ending. The ending, especially to this match, was over fucking booked and unnecessary. And I'm gonna tell you why. Raquel Rodriguez made her return, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I did point that out in my predictions on Twitter. If you guys don't know my Twitter channel again, or Twitter name, again, Rain Collins, 2 E's underscore. So Rain underscore Collins. You guys can find it. Um, Here's the thing about this. I said this. I was like, with Dominic in a cage, one has to think that Dominic escapes, cause a distraction. Liv Morgan takes to capitalize on that, which leads to her winning. I wasn't wrong, was I? I mean, I wasn't wrong. He did unlock the door. He did escape and hang there and distracted her. And Liv Morgan ended up retaining. That was my main prediction. She retains the women's championship. I never said whether or not Rhea wins or, I never said any of that. But I did state the obvious. Liv Morgan retains that title. She might not. You can win the match, but when it comes to the championship, yeah. Raquel made her, and I said, exactly. With case in point, Raquel returns. Why? Who knows? Raquel made her return, wiping out Rhea Ripley and drew disqualification win for the Radicator. The former women's tag team champion celebrated along with Mysterio to close things out. Yes, the finish was overbooked and unnecessary. Mysterio easily could have remained in the cage and unable to help Morgan while Raquel interferes on the behalf of her friend. Now I could have gotten that prediction wrong because Dominic wouldn't have needed to cause a distraction. Fortunately, I made that prediction and I got it right. Honestly, their Bleach Report is been here. Thank you, Eric Beeston. But yeah, while Raquel interfered on behalf of her friend and tag team partner to draw disqualification, Rhea Ripley moves on to feud with Raquel, and Liv finds another challenger to keep her busy for a few months. Pretty fucking easy, right? That's all they needed to do. And Raquel even thought that was how the ending was going to go. She didn't think the bell was already going to ring. Once I heard the bell ring, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, they messed this up. See, this is what was supposed to happen. Dominic was supposed to be a distraction. Rhea Ripley was supposed to tee him off, right? Um, Security guards, even the referee was supposed to get out of the ring and go check on Dominic, get him down, all of the distraction for them. Rhea Ripley was supposed to get back in the ring. Raquel was supposed to attack her, hit her with the Jokina bomb, have Liv Morgan cover her, get out of the ring. Referee comes in, 1, 2, 3. That's it. I think that's honestly how the booking was supposed to happen. I honestly think Dominic was supposed to fall, cause the biggest distraction ever. Oh my God, he's saying we need to fix it. We need to fix it. We need to fix it. You got to back up there, get him down. That's why you had all the other security people come out and fucking try to help him, right? Raquel, I don't know if it was Raquel who missed her cue or Rhea Ripley. All I know is the referee clearly saw, and he was supposed to not meant to see that, but he was supposed to help Dominic off too. Why? I don't know. Because he's more important in this match than the women. Fuck off. Rhea was supposed to back up after, all that, doing her little shuffle back, and then get attacked by Raquel. Throw her in the ring, like I already stated. Instead, we got what was a drawn out finish that fell flat and did not generate the reaction one would have hoped for the return of the former champion. And no pop. Literally no pop. Like whatsoever. No pop for Raquel. Nobody was like, oh my God, it's Raquel. Like nobody. Fucking nobody. So Raquel and Rodriguez will be a quality feud, which it will. If you've seen NXT before it went all fucking hokey pokey and little, splash of fucking paintball gun. Yeah. Their feud will be good. And hopefully Rhea comes out on top. Rhea and Raquel will be a quality feud, and it was more than time for this chapter of the rivalry to come to an end. But the execution here left a lot to be desired and dragged down what was otherwise a good match. So Rhea Ripley defeats Morgan to win. So if you predicted Rhea Ripley to win the women's championship, you're wrong. But if you predicted her to win the match itself, like the entirety, you're right. But at the end of the day, champions advantage. Do you see what I mean by the advantages now? Rhea Ripley had the people advantage, as where Liv had the champions advantage. When you factor in both, the champion always retains. You can't win the championship via count out or disqualification unless rules are uh present itself like that. Like, okay, if you get disqualified or count out, I win the championship. So unless the rules present itself, champion's advantage always wins. Sometimes, not all the time. To make that very clear. C plus. I hope one day she meets a guy with big muscles, even maybe even Australian Corey Graves said in a nice nice tongue in cheek fucking reference to Buddy Matthews. Oh my god, that again. One thing here to mention, of course, Rhea Ripley and Morgan have some serious in-ring chemistry, and it would be nice to see them start and end a match without um Shrinery. I think that's it, Shrinery. Of course, that would negate the reason for them wrestling anyway, but still, true. Got a good point. We move on to our main event. Of course, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns team up despite their abilities to coexist. This is literally probably taking from Deadpool and Wolverine, where you see them fighting in the fucking car, and then at the end of it, by the end, you see the camera pan down and it says coexist. So they're treating this like Wolverine and Deadpool. Okay. Let's make that very fucking clear. This is literally WWE's kind of take of uh Deadpool and Wolverine. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, despite questions about their ability to coexist, fended off the concentrated attack of Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, besting the bloodline in the main event. The match took the form of a standard tag team match bout for its majority, with the heels working over Cody Rhodes before the hot tag to the OTC sparked the comeback. Now, if you did predict the bloodline to win, understandably so. I mean, let's be honest. Roman Reigns did say in the past that he's not a tag team guy. Okay? But let's also remember this is Roman Reigns OTC. This is single superstar Roman Reigns. So even if he's put in a tag team match, it doesn't really matter. But again, the baby faces rolled from there with Cody Rhodes wiping out Fatu with a splash from the top ring post. I don't know why I said it like that, but you get my point. Crashing through the announce table, setting the stage for Roman and Sikoa showdown. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa made their presence felt, but the returning Jimmy Uso, yes, and how he did it was a callback to SummerSlam, ladies and gentlemen, of last year, if you remember. Last year. Okay, callback of last year. Really turning heel and now turning back to babyface with Roman and being there with him. I love it. But the return of Jimmy Uso wiped them out at ringside and provided the distraction that allowed Roman Reigns to deliver a spear on Solo for the 1-2-3. Now, a post-match beatdown on Cody Rhodes by the heels drew the attention of Reigns and Uso as they both looked at each other, and Reigns wanted to go back to his old ways of just walking away from this and not giving a damn. But Uso was like, "Yo, we gotta help him. Come on, Uso, let's do this. I'm with you, okay? What you want to do? I'm with you. I'm loyal to you now. You the original tribal chief. What you want to do?" What'd they do? Roman and Jimmy were like, "Fuck it, let's kick their ass." They went back to the ring. They drew him back to the square circle and took out the heels to only have a stare down, with Cody Rhodes to close out the show. Until The Rock made his return, standing at the top of the aisle and staring down the champion and the OTC. Now, a lot of things got to be put into perspective here, okay? I'm going to read this out to everybody. The show went off the air with some intimidating gestures from the final boss. And with that, the road has been paved to Survivor Series. War Games. Rock's return interjects him back into the Bloodline story, and while he gestured at Rhodes and Reigns, it is not out of the question that the three fingers he put up, followed by the throat slashing sign, was directed at Sokoa, who has now lost three high-profile matches as the new tribal chief. Has the People's Champion returned to seize control of the Bloodline in a battle with Reigns and in pursuit of Cody's title? It would seem that way. How does it affect Survivor Series, where he almost certainly wouldn't compete? Then there is the return of Uso, which was somewhat overshadowed, but essential to whatever it is WWE has in store for all parties involved at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, November 30th, into the WrestleMania season. That the company has taken a story that is 4 years in and still manages to create intriguing questions and a testament is a testament to all parties involved. 100% facts put into that, Eric Beeston. If you wrote this, 100% true. There's no disagreement there. They've been able to take the Bloodline story and keep it going. Even when the people said, like, yo, we need to tone this down a little bit. Yeah, they toned it down, but not too much. Even when Roman was champion, they were like, yo, we need to fucking finally get this belt off of him. It's too much. We can't deal with this. The babyfaces won, graded a B+. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I don't think they mention it here. Okay? And yeah, they don't mention it here. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, no, they don't mention it here. But I will. Ladies and gentlemen, it did happen. Okay? It did happen. And I will count it because it happened on the same night. All right? Even though the pay-per-view is over, all right, hear me out. I did say it needs to happen at the pay-per-view, but it happened. What happened? Well, social media happened. No. By the end of the show, when Cody was heading back to his Vodka Wheatley tour bus, Kevin Owens stopped him. They had a little chat. Kevin Owens proceeded to beat the fuck out of Cody Rhodes outside of his tour bus. Now, The Rock did that in some very fashionable way. So, I'm going to make it clear here. Cody will not be in that War Games match with Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. It will all be focused on the Bloodline, Rock included. Cody will face Kevin Owens. Okay? Cody will face Kevin Owens. A lot of things going on here. Owens finally turned heel on Cody Rhodes outside his tour bus, beating him up. Now, this was, like, with Kevin and Cody, this isn't, like, I think Kevin wanted it to make it feel real, because that's what I'm getting. I'm getting, like, is this real or is this not? People taking videos of it outside of it happening and getting an eye's view of Cody getting beat up by fucking, like, that's the thing they probably filmed. That's the thing they wanted people to film. They wanted people to, like, get their camera phones out, like, oh my God, Kevin Owens beat up Cody Rhodes, beat his ass. It happened. So the match at Bash in Berlin that happened between Cody Rhodes and Kevin, that stays what I've said before, that stays in contact. That stays true to itself. That's good. Because it happened, though it did not happen on pay-per-view, it still happened at that day. It did not leave that day without Cody getting beat up by Kevin. So that is fucking good. And I want to make that clear. Thank you to the people who fucking filmed that that video and filmed Kevin Owens beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes. Thank you. Because without that, I would be criticizing Cody Rhodes right now and Kevin Owens' match for Bash in Berlin. I don't have to now. So thank you, WWE, and thank you, of course, to the people who filmed it for making it happen. That's great. That's perfect. Beautiful. Of course, now we get to the overall grading of this, which was a B+, with Bad Blood was a show sold on 2 matches, the Hell in a Cell, Punk and McIntyre, and of course the tag team between the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. For the show to be a success, those 2 matches needed to deliver above and beyond everything else. And well, they did. Punk and McIntyre delivered a classic inside of a Hell in a Cell. Could be 5-star rated. Dave Meltzer might not do that, but guess what? I will. An exclamation point on Reigns' first match back as a babyface since 2020. There was a questionable booking decision involving the aspects of the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins which dragged things a down a bit in the middle of the PLE, but the show as a whole was exactly what it needed to be as the unofficial kickoff to the road to WrestleMania and all the twists and turns it will take on the way to Viva Las Vegas next April. Again, they kind of fucked over the Judgment Day kind of story. I knew what was supposed to happen for the main event, and it's what I've seen and what I think should have happened. And then for Damian Priest, like they should have made him lose. If you wanted this Judgment Day story to win, they should have had Finn Balor win. It would have been a first win for a while because Finn Balor hasn't won a match since 2 years. In 2 years, he has not won a single fucking match. How disappointing. But I digress. This was a great pay-per-view. So what's next for the WWE? In my take right here as a reviewer for this, or of the WWE? Well, my essential take on this now is that WWE's headed to Crown Jewel. We could be looking at, we are definitely looking down the barrel of Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, and we are definitely looking down the barrel of Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that shit. I'm okay with Gunther and Cody any day. But Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, not so much. Tiffany will cash in at some point. I think when you put that perspective in, like if they do the cash in at Saudi Arabia and have Tiffany Stratton cash in and win the women's championship from Nia Jax, maybe that is the case. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is yet to be seen. That is yet to be seen. We don't know what's going to happen with the Bloodline story. We could be looking at Roman taking on Jacob or Roman taking on Solo again in a high-profile match at Saudi Arabia, and then Survivor Series will be watched. And I can't wait to review in fucking, in November. Can't not wait. But as of now, we have to wait and see. The Judgment Day, I feel like their feud could climax at Survivor Series. Kevin Owens and Cody will have their title match. So Cody's kind of set right now for November and hopefully December. I think he's set. I couldn't tell you if Gunther wins. I can't tell you if Cody wins. Honestly, it's champion versus champion. No titles on the line other than the crown jewel champion. And this will happen every year. Their championships won't be on. This is kind of their Night of Champions type deal, right? This is like their Survivor Series type deal. Like they want to have the champion versus champion, so they don't have to do it at Survivor Series. Survivor Series where they usually did, champion versus champion or bragging rights. Exactly, bragging rights. So yeah, I mean, you could have the United States Championship be defended. LA Knight triple threat match. LA Knight, Carmelo, Andrade. You need to get another women's match, so the women's tag team championship matches are going to happen, or have to. We could get Raquel and Rhea if they set up a good program and get them on fucking live TV. Yeah, I think that's Intercontinental. Jey Uso might have to find something. I mean, a lot of people inside Raven might like Uso. So yeah, you might have to find something there. But overall, this show was really good. And what goes on to happen next is up to WWE. It's up to creative. Now, I want to remind everybody here who watches this. I want to remind everybody, because I'm again up to date with news. There will be 2 hours. We're back to the 2 hours for Monday Night Raw. I want everybody to know that 2 hours Monday Night Raws are back for the rest of the year now. Okay, so look for 2 hour Monday Night Raws coming to you, and then in January, cannot wait to review Monday Night Raw and SmackDown using, of course, Bleacher Report. So thanks to Bleacher Report. for the one of you Bleacher Report just to get the exact kind of in depth thinking. But yeah, well, I will be here with my hopefully with my cousin to do those. I'm sorry I had to do the predictions on fucking X or Twitter because technical audio issues. Those kind of happen. I was trying to set up perfectly for this and it did not happen. Um, but yeah, November November 2nd. That's Saturday. So November or October. Oh, that's Halloween. Ooh, that's Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to think. Do we do a Halloween prediction video? Holy shit. That's crazy. Or should I save it for Friday? I will save it. I don't like doing things on Halloween. Fuck it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save it for Wednesday. All right. So marketing calendar. Wednesday, October 30th. October 30th, Wednesday, will be the predictions for um Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. And then November, what do they have in it? November, I'll have to look it up later. By the end of November, we'll do the predictions for Survivor Series. So everything's good. Everything's caught up. I'm glad you guys joined me. This was the review for Bad Blood. I will see you guys Wednesday, November 30th, for the predictions for Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. See you guys.